Welcome back to the Cabin Podcast. I'm Andrea Belke.
And I'm Megan Christian.
The Cabin is brought to you by the Wisconsin Counties Association and Something Special from Wisconsin. And this week's going to be a little bit different than last week. If you have been following along and watched last week, we had a mind reader, Joe Diamond, on the podcast, and we're still so confused.
Don't know how he did that. It's been frustrating me constantly, but yeah, I'm excited for our guests today.
Yeah, we were a little departed from reality last time, but this time I think we're going to be more grounded in reality, we hope. I hope they're not tricking us this time. We have two really amazing guests because we thought it'd be cool to do an episode called Wisconsin edition of Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, like the famous show hosted by Guy Fieri. So to be able to bring in the A-team here, we have Eric Paulsen, host of Discover Wisconsin, kind of our honorary Guy Fieri today.
In a way, yeah. And we actually have done Discover Wisconsin episodes called Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dairy Bars.
Oh.
So there are some episodes on this you can watch.
Yeah.
On YouTube.
Well,
although I'm not rehashing all the old stuff. There's some new stuff in
Well,
there.
we're definitely going to do dives because we have the dive bar expert of Wisconsin. I don't think there's anyone that's been to more dive bars. We have Jared Schutz from Wisco Dive Bars in the cabin.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. This is gonna be fun.
It's gonna be a good one. I mean, we got Eric's Guy Fieri impression last time. Maybe something else will happen.
Well, and that's the funny. As soon as I started this, a buddy of mine instantly said, "You're gonna be like the Guy Fieri of dive bars," and I have honestly never seen an episode of that show, but I know the concept. I don't watch much TV, but yeah, I obviously know the concept.
I have to be honest, that's kind of how I think of you.
Really?
Like the Guy Fieri.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I mean,
well, you have your own distinctive voice.
Yeah,
and your signature phrase is "Let's go grab a cold one."
Yeah,
because you say that in every episode.
Yeah, do I?
It's never a beer.
Yeah.
Of course, you don't strike me as someone to be like, let's go grab a seltzer in this dive bar. Yeah. It just doesn't seem like it would work. But you just have to be like, hey, folks, I'm outside this dive bar in the middle of nowhere in northern Wisconsin. Let's go in.
And there's like the Guy Fieri.
Yeah, I was going to tee you up for it, but he just went ahead and did it. I love it.
I swung early. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, first, Jared, can you just give us an overview of what you do and how you got started? Because I think, it's really cool that you've taken this passion and turned it into this really cool social media page. You're on every social media platform and you have a lot of followers. So how did it all get started?
I just had the idea of I've always loved dive bars. In Wisconsin, maybe even, back in the early 90s, maybe before I was 21, I loved dive bars. But I just had this idea, I've never seen a dive bar commercial. I've never heard one on the radio, and it's and we love these places and I know they're disappearing, unfortunately. But I'm like, well, what if I do something to basically shoot them a commercial to help promote them? And I've hit 920 bars across the state and I've never charged a bar a penny for a review. I have the following that I have because of every single one of those 920 places. So, it's amazing. There's been so many times, more times than not. It's that dive bar aspect with everybody. You enter as a stranger and you leave as family. It's, how can you not love a dive bar?
Do you know how many dive bars there are in Wisconsin?
I mean, dive bars, I don't know for sure. But if you Google it, it says there's 2,700 bars in Wisconsin, but that's not even, Google can't even count how many bars are in Wisconsin.
I was going to say that can't be accurate. There's got to be more than that.
According to Keith Kern, who is the Tavern League of Wisconsin president, he said there's 9,000 bars in the state, which I think I did the math and it's right around one bar per 630 people, which sounds pretty Wisconsin-like.
Right. Yeah.
Sounds about right.
And the thing is, when you're defining dive bar, and we've talked about this before too, the definition, there's a gray area.
Right.
As to what's a dive bar versus what isn't.
That's true.
Even some of the ones you've done a review or two, you're like, this isn't quite a dive bar, but.
Right. But it's cool. There's something quirky about it, or it's just the community center of a super tiny town. These unincorporated towns, and there's a bar there. You can see where the feed mill used to be. You can see where, there used to be a old schoolhouse, whatever. These other small businesses are gone. Here's that dive bar that's been here for 114 years or whatever it is, so it's, there's no mistake that people love dive bars in Wisconsin. And I mean, it's not only cheap beers and a lot of times great food.
Yeah.
But it's true. Just,
because they don't clean the grill.
Yeah, that's the trick. Yeah, a little
They're
patina on
keeping
the
the
grill.
spices on there.
Yeah, I'm sure on your travels you've also hit a lot of diners and drive-ins. I feel like we should start in order, right?
Start with
So-
the first D in the trio.
Yeah, we'll circle back to dive bars for sure, but let's start with diners. So, what do you think makes diners so special in Wisconsin, Eric?
Well, diners, and that's a little more uniform across the country. I don't know if Wisconsin's diners are that much different from anywhere else you see, but for me, the key is the counter service. And they'll immediately come up to you with coffee because they know you probably need it for one reason or another. They do breakfast usually all day. And it's just the good basics they do super well. You know, the eggs, the bacon, sausage, potatoes, sometimes fruit, and then whatever else you want to drink. And then they've got a nice varied menu all day long, all night long. You can get whatever you want. Some of them are open 24 hours, and God bless them. But yeah, and there's even a diner chain in mostly southeastern Wisconsin, George Webb, which does diner as well as any place.
Yeah.
And so you go there and you know you can get, it's not going to be a fancy meal. They're not going to have Wagyu beef, but they are going to make you a damn good burger or some really good eggs, how you want them. And it's comfortable. It's a great place for comfort food and a very unpretentious atmosphere. And usually the prices are right and you overtip.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's kind of a cool thing about a lot of diners too. One of my favorites, and I don't even know if I would call it a diner, but it's a truck stop, the Pine Cone in Johnson Creek. I mean, grew up there, so it's kind of hard not to love it. But the price is so cheap, but the waitresses know your name after you've been there maybe 3 times. I think that's something so special about Wisconsin diners specifically. But I'm curious, Jared, do you have any favorite diners?
I mean, in some of the diners, you know, I feel like some of them are almost like a little bit diner, a little bit supper club, and a little bit dive bar.
There's a lot of crisscross.
Yeah, there is. And I did a little homework last night, and I made myself a list so I didn't forget about it. But the Northwestern Hotel in Rhinelander. I don't know if you've ever been there.
Yeah.
Right?
That
Well,
like you go in there.
Josh would probably talk about it for 40 minutes. That's why he's not in here.
And that place, it was like you walk in there, it's like a cafe. Sat right down at the counter, like you said. I mean, the instant service, amazing food, and dive bar prices. It was a really cool place. I was there last fall.
You know, a lot of the best diners are along the old highway. Like if there's a bypass or a freeway around an area now, if you go on the original road, that's where all the old school stuff is. The cool old gas stations, the cool old diners. On Highway 57, for example, and I think the diner's gone, but the sign was still there. It's called the Midway Cafe. It's not far from where you grew up.
I've heard of that.
And one of the things I love
there.
about some of these diners is they have really cool old signs, in some cases neon.
Is that
And it
right
just
by,
says-
is that right by Random Lake?
Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
north
it's
of
right
Random
there.
Lake.
Yeah,
And
I've
it just
been there.
says eat.
Yep.
And an arrow
Yeah.
points.
The arrow.
Yeah.
It's like eat, and you go
Simple,
right there.
yeah.
And I love that sign, and I love that place. Now, I don't know if they close for a little bit, if they're still open, or what the deal is. But if there's a sign above a restaurant like that, chances are I'm going in.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, that's a good one. Have you guys ever worked at a diner?
No.
No, I was
Eyes on,
actually a
and I got
waitress.
fired.
Oh, really?
I was a waitress at Gateway Cafe in Kewaskum. And that's a diner. I was a really good waitress, I'm just going to say.
Hey,
I don't know,
I'm a
Andrea, you're so
bartender,
shy.
so-
Well, what I loved about it was really good food, and it was all the locals. And I also loved memorizing. I would be the waitress that would come up and say, "What do you want?" And then I'm acting like, "Oh yeah, it's so easy for me to memorize everything." But like in my brain, I'm like,
So
"Okay,
get back to the register, you're
like your
like,
guest
wait,
last week. Then
so-
that you were
Oh,
that version of the
yeah,
waitress,
yeah, exactly. But the thing about a lot of the diners too is they're not making a ton of adjustments. There's not going to be, there's not as many like, okay, that the bread is gluten free, and then hold the butter. Like it's actually like people are just getting, oh yeah, the 2 eggs and bacon.
Yeah.
If you say hold the butter, most diners in Wisconsin will kick you right out.
Yeah.
So
That's the thing about diners too, is they don't change anything, and that's why some of them are so good. Speaking of Triple D, Frank's Diner, because that's one of Guy Fieri's actual favorites, right in Kenosha. Eric, have you been there?
did you go there twice or just once? Because I know I've seen at least one of his things. I thought he went back.
I think he did go
Yeah.
twice. It's one of his favorites. So every time he comes to Wisconsin, he goes to Frank's Diner. But they have this thing called a garbage plate. I wrote down what it was.
It's called a garbage.
No, I didn't.
A garbage
I will
plate?
tell you
Garbage
this.
plate.
I had a half order of a garbage plate and I could barely finish it.
Yeah. It's like eggs, cheese, meat, bread, all mixed with hash browns and onions and green peppers. It's this gigantic plate.
Wow.
Also, if you go to Frank's Diner, you got to get there early and be ready to wait because it's so small. I want to say it seats maybe 20 people, maybe a little more, maybe a little less.
There's some diner seats like at the counter,
Yep.
and then I think it maybe seats 20 people. It's an old, like a train car kind of thing.
Kind
Horses
of.
pulled it into place in 1925.
Oh, wow.
And it's been there ever
Whoa.
since.
And now it's been there about 100 years.
Horses pulled it in.
I'm putting that
Yeah.
on my list next time I get down
Wait,
there.
that's so
Yeah.
cool.
That's how they dragged it to where it is.
Whoa. Yeah, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
that's how they would move buildings.
Yeah.
They would take
Yeah.
horses.
It's
Yeah.
the technology they had for moving heavy things back
Yeah.
then was actually quite impressive.
Yeah.
Those must have been some big horses, probably some Clydesdales or
Yeah, and
Belgians.
a lot of
Yeah,
them, I'm
Budweiser,
guessing.
where you at?
Yeah.
Right?
Wow, that's really cool.
But and it's right in the heart of downtown Kenosha.
Yep, right down by the lake. So once you're done eating or whatever, head to the harbor market maybe, get some flowers, fresh.
Public Brewing and
produce.
Rustic Road
Public
too,
Brewing,
right there.
Yep, Rustic Road's so good. There's so many new breweries down in Kenosha.
Yeah,
Hard to keep track.
It's quite budding.
It
yeah.
is.
Yeah.
It is.
Any other diners that come to mind?
Oh, there's a ton of them. I mean, one of the classics, everybody brings it up, so I might as well get it out of the way, is Delta Diner,
Mhm.
which is famously in the middle of nowhere in the North Woods. And I think Delta's a township.
Yeah.
And it's on a county road off of US 63 towards US 2. It's southwest of Ashland. And I don't know how many shoots I've been on up in Bayfield, Ashland, that area, Hayward. That's all within about 45 minutes of the Delta Diner. And I've only been able to get there once. I went up there like 10 times. I'm like, I'm going to Delta this time. Finally got there once. And it was so late, I didn't even have breakfast. But their food, their eggs and their omelets and everything are supposed to be amazing. And they're known far and wide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually up in that area 3 weeks ago and it's like, we just didn't have time to get there.
Yeah.
We had a group of 8 of us that turned into 10. But yeah, it's very well known up in that area.
And if you're talking about like the Madison area, you have Hubbard Avenue Diner, which is where it's on YouTube. It never made the show. I did my Guy Fieri impression on video for that.
I feel like you've done the impression several times and they've been cut several times.
They've been cut several times. So maybe I should get the hint.
Maybe.
He keeps trying it.
But yeah, I mean, Hubbard Avenue Diner, it's a sister diner, I think, to the one in Sun Prairie Market.
Gus's Diner. Is that what you're talking
Might be
about?
Gus's, might be Market Street Diner.
Oh, yeah.
By Full Mile Brewing.
Mhm.
I do everything by how close it is to the nearest brewery. Maybe that's an issue. But, and they're kind of the more modern diner, you know, they're a little pricier than your old school diner, but boy, do they serve up a good variety of stuff. And a lot of good diners. The other thing is, like a lot of Greek restaurants, they have rotating pies or a refrigerator case full of desserts for you to drool over because they always want you to save room for dessert.
That's like the pine cone. You're getting a cookie the size of your face there.
See, and I've never understood that because they always have this amazing dessert and here comes 18 servings that they expect you to eat and you feel bad if you don't eat it all.
I know.
And they're like, oh, did you save room for pie? I'm like, yeah, where? In my pocket, maybe.
That's why you just got to bring it home.
And you can get desserts to go usually,
Yep.
which
Yeah.
they're happy to do. And yeah, Pine Cone, very good on 26 and 94 in Johnson
Yes.
Creek. They also have another location
Yes, out
in
here.
DeForest.
Yes.
I'm not saying the forest. There's actually a DeForest here in Wisconsin.
I was
and that's
just there at Quick Trip and fueled up before I came here.
oh, perfect.
There you go.
See? Yeah, I mean, it's 10 minutes from here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and there's another place that I've hit in my travels, and it's actually owned by a girl I went to school with. It's in Stanley, and it's called Kelly Grill, and like they're open early in the mornings, and they're usually closed like at 2:00 maybe in the afternoon, and it's that same thing. It's that diner feel.
Where is it?
It's
It's
in
along
Stanley.
Highway 29.
Yeah, not far off of Highway 29.
Stanley's what, maybe 15, 20 minutes east of Chippewa Falls?
Okay.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, something like that.
And just east of that is Thorpe.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
actually, it's a restaurant, but I'd categorize it as a diner. I love the name, the Torpedo.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I finally did manage to stop there one time. Marika Gouda, the cheese company, a very famous. They're right.
Yeah.
It's 2 minutes from there.
Well, and that's it, the Kelly
And
Grill.
the
I mean, you
food
get
is
amazing food at great prices and way too much. Like I can't eat that much. And they have excellent staff. And it has that really cool diner, kind of almost dive bar supper clubby feel to it.
So
Well, I think we should move on to drive-ins because they have a pretty old school feel too.
they do indeed.
Yeah.
And you're just chomping at the bit.
I'm chomping at the
To name
bit
a
to
thing.
talk about the kilty, Eric.
Yeah, well, I have to be honest. I was telling Megan, I'm like, I don't think I've been to a lot of drive-ins.
No, she's like, do they actually still exist?
Okay. Okay, you don't have to out me for saying that. Our texts are private. I only know of one. Well, I mean, I know that they exist, but I think I've only really been to like one or two. Wayne's.
Wayne's is great.
Yeah, Wayne's in Cedarburg. So I've been to that one, but it's just, I guess it's something that really isn't in my rotation.
Yeah, they have.
And I think I'm missing out.
They've
Sure.
disappeared. They really have. I mean, I'm 48, and I remember a fair amount of them. They were never really all over the place, but I remember a fair amount of them growing up in the early to mid 80s.
It wasn't unusual to have one in your town.
Yeah.
And now it is.
Yeah. Well, there's still, you said there's about 35.
I've cataloged about 36, 37 of them on Skate Trunk Tour.
Yeah.
And I'm still looking for more. And I'm not even counting some of the chains.
Yeah.
So-
Well, let's talk about some of the coolest drive-ins in Wisconsin.
All right.
I think we can tag team the kilty, Eric.
I will give you the kilty.
Okay, but you
Even
can
though I was
add
just
on
there
to it.
last weekend.
Me too.
When? Saturday?
Sunday.
Okay.
Sunday. Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
This is
Guys.
going to be good.
If
Well-
you have not gone, you have to go to the kilty in Oconomowoc.
And I will preface this in one way. There are some drive-ins that are a little more recent or that opened in the 60s or 70s. There are some classics that go back to just past the World War II era that opened in the 40s and have stayed largely original. And the kilty is in that category.
Yeah, the kilty is mega retro vibes. You drive up, it's the big light up sign. You can see it right off the highway. It's so cool. But they have the best custard ever. And they have not changed their menu since they started, I don't think. Maybe they've added some stuff, but
Minor modifications. Yeah.
everything's pretty original. My favorite thing is the mellow mint. Do you have a favorite custard?
I never get the
sundae?
custard because I always load up on the burgers and the fries and the rings.
Do you get the cheese fries?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jackson insists on cheese on
Their
the fries.
French fries are better than any place I have ever had French
Wow.
fries.
If you
Bold
like the crinkle
statement.
cuts, yeah.
They're crinkle cuts, but the seasoning on them, I don't know what they put on there. Oh my God. My mouth is watering thinking about it.
Okay, and then because I know for drive-ins, people usually, they come up to you, right?
Yep.
They come up to your car, so you just go in, you park, they come and take your order.
Yeah.
Are they wearing
so-
kilts?
Yes. So they're wearing kilts a lot of the time in summer. Sometimes they don't. I mean, sometimes it's just a little kilty t-shirt or sweatshirt or
It's
something.
usually a
but-
black skirt or a
Yep.
the kilt Scottish.
Yeah, but
the
you pull
tartan
your
skirt.
car right in. It's all shaded, so you don't got to worry about the sun. And then they come right up to you, take your order. You roll down your window. They put a little tray on your window, give you your food, and it's good to go. But they will always say, leaving room for dessert today, right as you order your food.
Mm-hmm.
Anne loves this Dole Whip. Like it's pineapple-y.
Oh my gosh. That's one thing that they have that is really cool is Dole Whip. They have it in Hawaii. It's like the pineapple kind of soft serve ice cream. They have it at
Oh.
It's
Disneyland,
very
Disney
good.
World too.
Sounds amazing.
It's
Yeah.
so good.
And the thing is, you were talking about the fries. Their onion rings are second to none.
Yeah, they're very good.
And they have a good variety of burgers and everything too, and hot dogs and kind of the standard menu. But when you're there, the canopy, the little lights with the red and yellow,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not yellow, red and white and all that. I swear all that stuff is like original from the 40s.
It has to be. I think the only thing they've updated is probably like their kitchen equipment and stuff. Everything's so
Maybe.
original. Yeah. My mom went there as a kid and she's like, it just looks the same. Everything's the same. So it's just one of those original drive-ins. Like you gotta
Just
go
a
to the
time
Kilty.
capsule.
Okay.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a vibes person. I like the aesthetic of places, so I definitely want to check that out.
Yeah.
Another good time capsule that opened in the 40s. I mean, there's several of them. Did you have some of the Kenosha ones on your list? You did, didn't you?
Yeah, but I'll let you take them.
Well, go ahead. You want Big Star?
I'll
take
take
Big
Big Star
Star.
if you take the
Wow.
spot.
I will do that.
Well, Big Star is great too. I mean, I'm sure. Have you been to Big Star at
I
all?
haven't. No.
Oh
This is
my
Kenosha,
gosh.
by the way,
Yeah.
This is Kenosha. So it's right off Sheridan Road.
on
Same-
Washington. Yeah.
Yeah. So you literally just pull in. It's a little different setup than the Kilty. You can park like just in the parking lot too, but it's always packed in the summertime because it's not too far from the lake. Big Star is notorious for their cheeseburgers. That is one of the best cheeseburgers you'll ever have. That's like $2. It's great.
$2.
Is it 2 or is it like 4?
I think it's hopefully more than 2.
I know at the
I'd get
Kilty it's
suspicious at
$4.50.
Yeah, too.
I know at the Kilty it's $4.50. It's less than $5 unless you're loading it up or getting a double cheeseburger.
Oh,
We'll look up the
But,
prices.
yeah.
Well, yeah.
We'll put the menu in the B-roll. There
Yeah,
you go.
well, but they have their sign is a circle with those flickering,
Yep, and the
not
little
flickering, but the lights that kind
arrow.
of point you
Yeah.
down to the
Yep.
place. Big Star's got one of those
Yep.
signs. And then that's the north side Kenosha
Yes.
Drive-In. The south side one, I know my dad grew up in Kenosha, and he always went to the Spot,
Yep.
which I think Big Star opened in 1954. The Spot opened in 1945.
Wow.
Wow.
And the same little cabin place where they cook is in there, and they do the tray off the window, and the car hops come up, and they have amazing fried cheese, not curds, they're kind of nuggets of cheese. You pair that with a cheeseburger there, it's absolutely phenomenal. And we can't not mention shakes and malts because a lot of those places specialize in that. But yeah, Kenosha is kind of a titan of drive-ins. They had one called Andy's that just closed too on Roosevelt.
Oh, I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, it's not too far from the Spot actually,
Yeah.
but yeah, you still have the Spots on the south side, the Big Stars on the north side.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think another unique thing about the Spot too is if you get root beer, they'll bring it to you in the mug.
yes.
Hmm.
And they're known to have very good root beer. I don't know what it is, but
Well, yeah, A&W drive-ins were the thing, like in the
Yeah.
50s into the 60s.
Yeah.
And there's a couple that remain in Wisconsin,
Yep.
Yeah.
including Superior has a really nice one. And then just down US 2 in Iron River, which is a small town.
Yeah.
They have an A&W drive-in.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
one. I grew up not in Spring Valley, just not too far from Baldwin, and Baldwin used to have one. The A&W is still there, but it's not the drive-in.
Drive-in.
See, and that's the thing. A&Ws, there's still a lot of them, but there's only a couple that remain as drive-ins.
Yeah.
And
Is
God
that
bless
kind
them
of
for
what
that.
kicked it off? The A&W?
Yeah, they
drive-ins?
kind of made it popular. The other big popular one that used to be a big chain around the country, and they still exist, but it barely, right? Dog and Suds,
huh.
right? And which was a hot dog and a root beer.
Oh, yeah.
And they still have one Wisconsin location, and it's delicious. It's in Tomahawk.
Ooh.
And it's on what's now the county road. I think it's A leading north out of Tomahawk, but that used to be US 51, the main drag. If you're in Tomahawk and going to Minocqua, that was the road. And so that's what all the old drive-ins are on those old roads, right? And they're doing a hopping business. A couple of
Yeah.
times I've stopped in there.
Yeah.
Dog and Suds sounded like maybe a dog washing.
Yeah.
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 You know,
Yeah.
if they offer a drive-in food and drink and dog washing services,
Yeah.
that would be,
Yeah.
that'd be smart.
Yeah. Delete that part out. This might be $1 million thing. Don't
Yeah,
let people know.
There you go.
Wash your
No,
dog.
there's evidence we came up with it now, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are so many, and I can do a couple more. You got a couple more on your list, right? Or
I
not?
have one more.
Okay, what is it?
Well, it kind of relates to Dog and Suds, but Hoggy Doggies in Minocqua. It's not so much of a drive-in, but it's more of like you go park your car with the kids, go up to the window, go hang out and eat outside because they don't have any indoor dining. But they're known for their ice cream, their slushies, and of course their hot dogs. So
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of those drive-ins have turned into now, rather than you know, putting the tray on your
Yep.
on your window. Like one that I have is the Hager Heights Drive-In in Hager City.
Yes.
That I don't know how long that's been around, but it's been around forever. But they used to come out and you park your car underneath the canopy. Now it's basically a drive-through. Now it's picnic tables under the canopy. I actually work right by there, and you know the traffic backed up. They're just known for their roasted chicken and their
Okay.
shakes, their malts. Their cheese curds are incredible, and their burgers are always good. And,
what's your go-to?
I mean, I'm a burger and give me curds instead of fries guy for
Yeah,
sure.
like
I'd swap curds for
Yeah,
fries a lot.
same thing.
yeah.
If I'm at Culver's, same thing.
What
I haven't
about
had a
onion
Culver's
rings?
French fry. I'm not an onion ring guy.
Not the strings, the rings.
Yeah, nope. I don't do onion rings. Yeah.
okay.
I love a good crunchy, really crispy onion ring.
And
Nothing
who has
better.
really good ones too, along with Kilty, is Gus's, which is an old school style drive-in in East Troy. And that's on the old road too. It's on County ES, which before they built I-43 was the main road between Milwaukee and Beloit. And so Gus's is in there, and they have classic car hops. Well, they have car hops, but they have classic car shows. A lot of the drive-ins do that too. You bring
Yeah,
your
I know.
Now
classic
that you
cars on
say
those
that, I
nights.
think I've been there
Yeah.
with my
Really?
dad. My dad used to do car shows when I was growing up.
Okay.
and
Yeah.
that sounds really familiar.
Wayne's in Cedarburg does that
Yeah,
too.
they
have
do it
classic
very
car
well.
shows, a lot of like really old vintage cars there all the time.
And one note about Wayne's, which is right off 60 and 181, right by the covered bridge that's so famous there, they still skate.
Oh, that's
Oh,
right.
I
They
love
do.
that.
That's right. They do. Yeah.
I did that for the show.
Oh,
Really?
They're like, Eric, do you have any roller skates in your car? I'm like, what am I, 12?
yeah.
And then they're like, do you have any rollerblades? I'm like, oh yeah, I have some from the 90s. Hang on, I'll go get them. And yeah, I used rollerblades.
Yeah.
They were
Oh my
waiting for me to
gosh.
wipe out with a full tray of food. They were a little disappointed I didn't.
So is that what they did back in the 50s? Did they?
Yeah.
They skated up.
They were
You're
roller
asking
skating
Eric
car
like
hoppers.
That was even in
alive
the-
I mean, I don't
That
know.
was even in the
Was it
70s, wasn't it?
Even into the 70s. Well, look, of everyone in this room, I wasn't alive yet in the 50s, but I'm the one who was closest.
Yeah.
So I get it.
I also know that you know a lot about
Yeah.
history of Wisconsin.
Well, and the drive-in stuff, there's the levels. Do you have the tray off the window? Yes or no? One place you do, and they have amazing, like the cheddar nuggets, Chester's Drive-In in Plymouth.
I have been there.
Okay.
Yep.
Because
yep.
that's near where you grew up too.
Yeah. I went there. Okay, so when I did the musical Grease, which takes place in the 50s.
Were you Sandy or Rizzo?
I was Rizzo. Yeah, I was Rizzo. I dyed my hair, but our whole cast went to Chester's in character.
Stop. They probably thought you guys
That's
were so
perfect, though.
weird.
So weird. It's like so extra for like a
You
high
brought
school
the vibe.
Like
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
You're like in there snapping
Danny
on your
Zuko.
intro.
Yeah. We literally went to Chester's in character. Like that's what the director had us do. And so we were
Oh
all
my
eating at
gosh.
Chester's in character. It's so weird.
That's awesome, though. That's how you should do it.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it probably there's other people that probably were there for the first time and they're like, what in the world is going on? This vibe is incredible.
Yeah.
You know,
But
they
the
thought
thing
it was
about
all
being
planned.
in character as Rizzo or Danny Zuko or like when can you break character? Like I
Well,
guess when
I
you
was
get back
going to
in your
ask for you,
car.
like, give me a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's like, was that kind of
You've seen
good?
that many
Yeah.
times. That's very good. Yeah.
I
Oh,
love
man.
Grease. That's one of my...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are some good ones though.
Yeah. And then there's another one too is the
Chautauqua.
HD drive-in in
Oh, yeah.
Holman.
So that's open.
Yeah.
Every
So
time I've been by it, they haven't been open.
So it's next to the HD Tavern, and you can order from the bar, and they will bring the food over to the bar.
Oh, that's
So-
cool.
So
It's in Holman, right off of 53.
Yeah, right on the
Business
main
35
road, yeah.
is kind of on the north end. And in La Crosse, there's a drive-in with a sister drive-in in Sparta called Rudy's.
Huh.
Mm.
Oh, I've
And-
heard of that.
Yeah, they opened in the 60s, and they've got the
Yep.
menu right next to you and the whole thing. Sometimes there's a speaker you can call in on.
Oh, I love it.
That's fun.
I mean, there's like I said, there's all the levels. So Rudy's is really good. And then I finally went to go back to the really old school ones.
Mhm.
I was on a shoot actually in Washara County. And it's been on my list forever, and they were open and it worked. I went to the Milty Wilty
Ooh.
in Watoma.
I like the name.
yeah.
I
It's
like
on
the name too.
21 and 73 on the southeast side of town, not too far from the Silvercrest Supper Club. And that opened in 1947. Original building still there. They have a mini golf course
Ooh.
in their backyard.
That's up my alley.
And
Yeah,
just
perfect.
phenomenal, tasty little food. I got like their small cheeseburger, a small order of fries, and a Sundrop soda in a bottle, which was perfect because that was my appetizer before going to the Silvercrest.
Perfect.
But-
Sundrop.
The
You can't
Sundrop
beat
is a
Sundrop.
classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Is that Shawano? Shawano, is it?
No, it's in what? Oh, where's Sundrop's from?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it.
And there's quite a few I could name, but I know we're on limited time.
Yeah, we could move over into dive bars, I
Yeah.
think.
I've been to
Yeah.
a few.
The Cabin is brought to you by the Wisconsin Counties Association, and this week we are featuring Columbia County. Nestled in the heart of the state, Columbia County is a short drive from Madison, and it's where small town charm meets outdoor adventure. The county was created in 1846, and the county seat and largest city is Portage, and it's home to the infamous Partyville. You can explore the natural beauty of the Wisconsin River or paddle through the scenic waterways of the Fox, Wisconsin Heritage Parkway. If you're craving some history, you can visit Fort Winnebago Surgeon's Quarters in Portage, one of the oldest buildings and historic sites in the state, or stroll the historic downtowns packed with antique shops, cafes, and tons of character. You can grab some fresh cheese curds from a local creamery, take in the views from Gibraltar Rock, or camp under the stars at one of the pristine parks in the county. And you don't want to miss the Columbia County Fair, full of music, food, and fun for the whole family. And you can head to Columbus and explore the Columbus Antique Mall, the largest in the state, really cool, and check out the Crawfish River while you're there. For more, go to wicounties.org.
The Cabin is also brought to you by Something Special from Wisconsin. Now you can uncover all the amazing local and Wisconsin-made products with ease thanks to Something Special from Wisconsin. Browse through an array of product categories that feature Wisconsin's finest goods, including meats and charcuterie. Enjoy every bite of Wisconsin with this selection of locally sourced meats and charcuterie. From savory sausages to artisanal bacon, member producers take pride in crafting delicious options that are perfect for any gathering. Jams, jellies, and sauces. Add a burst of flavor to your meals with delightful jams, jellies, and sauces. Made from fresh, locally sourced ingredients, these products are perfect for enhancing your favorite dishes or enjoying on their own. Baked goods. Indulge your sweet tooth with a variety of baked goods made by talented local bakers. From mouthwatering pies and artisan breads to cookies and pastries, there's something to satisfy every craving. Candles and soaps. Explore the world of handmade candles and soaps crafted by skilled artisans. These products not only smell amazing, but also make for thoughtful gifts that bring a touch of Wisconsin charm into any home. Outdoor gear and apparel. Gear up for your next adventure with Wisconsin-made outdoor gear and apparel, and even fishing tackle. Whether you're hiking, camping, or simply enjoying the beauty of nature, these local brands offer high-quality products designed for the great outdoors. Start your exploration on somethingspecialwi.com with the member directory search. Every category highlights our state's uniqueness.
You've been to how many?
I know, you're the dive bar
920.
expert.
Okay.
920.
In Wisconsin. I mean, like I said, I reviewed those ones in Arizona. They don't count for my total count, I guess. But.
Yeah, I guess just give us an overview of maybe, I don't know, what makes them special to you, what keeps you going, like why, you started this thing, but then, you are obviously going to continue it, and this is a passion project of yours. So what keeps you kind of going back to all the dive bars?
Yeah.
Really, I mean, if you think about it, so many of these places are museums that serve liquor. Like the Moccasin in Hayward.
As soon as you said a museum, I went right to Hayward.
And I wasn't even, this
bar.
wasn't even in my Cliff Notes to talk about, but as soon as I said it, that's what I thought
absolutely
too.
Right. You know what makes them one of the most awesome dive bars, other than all of the stuffed animals that are real animals? They serve hams on tap.
And do you know why they do?
Why they serve hams on tap?
Yeah.
I'd love to know.
Seymour Ham used to own that place.
Oh, seriously?
Really?
And that's part of the deal, that they will always have hams on tap.
Well, and it's a Minnesota beer. They brewed it in St. Paul, and I think they probably still do. But
yeah,
they had they had a cartoon bear in their commercials from back in the day, and they'd sing "From the Land of Sky Blue Water."
Well, and they have the best beer signage. I see it all over bars, and it's epic. It's the best antique beer signage there is out there.
And it's a great note about good dive bars. They have all the best old school beer signs.
Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like
Hams
I said,
and Schlitz really kind of took
yeah,
the cake.
I've hit. There was a bar I reviewed, Sierra's Red, White, and Blue, up in St. Germain, Eagle River area. When I reviewed that, I had
it's St. Germain, and I've been there.
Yeah, and just a tiny little place tucked in the woods. I remember when I went there, I had a hams, and I don't know if it was a Blatz or a Schlitz. I'm like, why not? Just seemed like it,
Yeah, I think they have pull tabs there too, I think.
Oh yeah, most of
'cause
these
me and my family
bars
got
do.
a ton.
Yeah, and like I said, I've hit 920 in all 72 counties across the state. And maybe at the end of this, I have a little announcement that I'll make. We've got something coming up. I thought this would be a perfect time to announce it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just love all these places, and some of them are a little bit fancier. It definitely started out as dive bars, and then like my followers suggest places, and then I'm driving 2 hours, and I get to a place, and I'm like, well, this is kind of fancy, but I get it. Like you walk in, and it has that vibe. It has that, and a lot of them too. There was one that I hit here just a couple weeks ago down in Genoa City, Herner's Hideout.
That was one of the ones I was going to talk about. Herner's
Hideaway. Hideaway. And she showed me pictures of what that place was when she bought it. It was an absolute dive. She has turned it into something so magnificent. And I feel like that, she's still a dive bar at heart. Like you can feel that.
Yeah, I feel like it's the people, the owners that kind of make them what they are, right?
Yeah, and that place was so amazing. And that wasn't even one of our scheduled stops, and we were driving by there. And I told my fiance, I'm like, what is that place over there? She's like, well, it's a fireworks place. I'm like, no, there's an old style sign behind it, and there's a ton of cars. And it was a Friday night, maybe 6, 7, so perfect dinner time. And I was blown away. Like it was such a cool place. But yeah, dive bars come in all shapes and sizes. And
Herner's Hideaway, we talk about it on Lake 96.1 sometimes, where I do a morning show, and they're one of our, they advertise once in a while. And that's the first place I ever did a stein hoisting competition, actually.
oh yeah,
We did an Oktoberfest a year and a half ago. And I actually won the thing. I couldn't
You
believe
Really?
what?
Somehow,
Wait,
I'd never tried it before.
so that's where you're holding it
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
straight.
My
Just
boss-
for people that
Yeah.
don't know.
My
So
boss
how
at the
long did
station-
it take? Like
5 minutes and 12 seconds.
Wait, I think that's pretty impressive. I mean, I
Yeah.
haven't done one. I think I would be decent at it because it's kind of a survivor-esque
Yeah.
challenge.
It is, yeah.
But
gotta, like-
that's fun.
Well, I never. My boss there, Nancy, is like, if you come in last place, I'm firing you. So I'm like, oh crap.
no pressure.
So
My
I'm holding
life
this,
depends on
in like
this.
2.5 minutes, finally somebody put it down. I'm like, oh good, I'm not getting fired. And then I just kept. And then it became kind of a source of pride.
Yeah. Then you get numb a little
And
bit.
somehow, eventually, the other guy's elbow bent enough, and they're like, But so somehow I won. That's an
Yeah.
aside.
Yeah, that's
but
cool.
Herner's Hideaway was redone really nicely. They have a great outdoor patio and a little stage, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And, Tammy, the owner, said she wanted to buy that place for 20 years and the lady wouldn't sell it to her. Finally, the lady was in her 80s, and I think Tammy said she bought it 10 years ago. And she took an old bar. Like I said, I should have had her send me the pictures so I could have put it in my review so people could have really appreciated what it was and what it has become. But it's just like goosebumps things. Like she's put so much, blood, sweat, and tears into that thing, and it's just thriving. And
Yeah, she's doing really
Yeah.
well with it. And I'm
Crazy.
so glad. It's one of the southernmost dive bars in the state because it's the park and ride, and then Highway 12 and the Illinois state line is right there. Like you can
Yeah.
see Illinois from
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And so I'll suggest one that's at the other end where you can see Michigan from there. And that's in Hurley at the Munch.
It's called The Munch.
The Munch. It's right on the corner of US 51 and Highway 77.
I've never been there, but I stayed right at the Silver Street Motel when I reviewed bars in Hurley. And I've wanted to get back the last couple winters, but they haven't had any snow. And I'm like, I'm not going
Yeah.
to Hurley when the snowmobile
There's no
trails aren't
snow.
open.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
What do you like about The Munch?
It's divey, very divey, very basic, very. I love a dive bar that doesn't look clean, even though it is. It's
yeah.
yeah.
hard to describe. But they have great tacos there. They're a taco bar, and they were like $2 or $3 a piece. That's one of the great things when you're on a Discover Wisconsin shoot is you try all the local places.
Yeah.
And so we had lunch there and it was phenomenal. And then they have an appetizer called pork balls. And it's just, little meatballs of pork. But pork balls is written on the side wall outside. And I thought it was graffiti. And I was like, that's funny. No, it's a menu item. So, but Hurley, and that's really kind of kicks off a whole block or two full of dive bars.
Right.
Because Hurley
Yeah.
is, what would be a dive bar capital town? Like if you had the top 3 or 5 towns for how many dive bars they have.
Gosh.
Hurley's got to be on
It's
that list.
it has to be, I would think. Superior definitely back in the day.
Yeah.
They've lost a lot of bars. But I would say Hurley's got to be right there in that Minocqua area too.
Woodruff, yeah, Minocqua Woodruff.
Yeah. But I mean, it's tough to beat Hurley, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. Jared, I want to ask you a really difficult question. It might be hard to choose, but if you had to pick 3 of the most unusual or standout dive bars in Wisconsin, which 3 would you choose?
Oh man. Seeing we were just talking about that area, the Little Brown Jug in Minocqua is incredible. It's a 20 out of 10. Like it's got such a vibe. I can't wait to go back there. I was in the area and I was going through and it was like 10 a.m. I'm like, man, like I wish it was a little bit later so I could stop in. But that's one of the my favorite ones, I guess.
What makes it stand out?
The money on the ceilings and walls.
I
and
love
like
seeing that.
Yeah. And there had to be $20,000 on the ceiling. And like it was so much, it was just coming down the walls too. And then you go in the little tiny bathroom. In the bathroom, the walls are like robin egg blue. And you go in there and you're like, because there's no money on the walls in there. So everything is so bright.
You're like,
you know?
I'm
Yeah,
awake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I would say Jim's County Line in El Dorado, just south of Oshkosh.
Okay.
You've probably driven by it and you thought, what in the world is that? If you haven't been there, Jim that owns the place is like if you Google perfect dive bar bartender looks everything, it's Jim. They have quirky games that they play. Like I played nursing home bingo there. It was one of the games where he deals out, I think you get 3 or 4 cards and you have him lay them down face up and then he has a deck where he's pulling cards too. And I'm like, oh, who's got the 2 of spades? So he flip it over, the first one with all 4 of their cards flipped over, win something. And one of the prizes may or may not be an adult DVD. They also have bra pong there. If you've ever seen bra pong, they have, it's like a big board and there's like 3 rows of bras that are hanging up there, and you have
Classic.
like the wiffle ball golf balls.
Oh, yeah.
And you throw them, and you play like a 9-inning game
Get 'em in.
with them as Jim keeps score at the bar. And
Like beer pong, but with bra cups.
yeah.
Okay.
And so I'm like, I'd never seen that before at a bar. So that place is just an incredible vibe. And I guess I would say one I just hit recently too, a few weeks ago, Tom's Burn Down Cafe. It was the first time I've ever been there. So cool.
You don't happen by that because it's on an island.
Yeah, it's like you've got to take a ferry across.
Wait, where is that? That's
Madeline Island.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw it
my
when I was
grandma was
there.
telling me about that place.
Yeah, and there's actually cars. So I think what he did is he had this parking lot or whatever filled with junk cars. He just built a giant deck over top of the cars, hid the cars, and voila. Like,
Problem solved.
incredible. Like, that place had probably been suggested 5,000 times
Okay,
in the last 3.5
Man,
years.
I regret that I didn't actually go there. I was on a shoot, but when I'm on shoots, I'm so tired.
Yeah.
And so I'm so
same.
lame.
It can be long days.
So everyone,
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
some of the other people were like, "Let's go," and I didn't go, and I
Yeah.
kind of regret it now because when am I going to get back out there?
Right.
It's not
Yeah.
an easy little hike.
Yeah. And there's so many, those are just, 3 of the great ones that really stand out. I mean, I could name 50 of them that
No,
are
for
just
sure.
off the
Well,
charts.
yeah, I was going to ask, do you have a diviest dive bar in Wisconsin?
100%. Don't even say don't even say the
Nickname?
Plywood Palace, because the Plywood Palace is a total dive bar, and I was there 3 weeks ago too. The diviest dive bar in Wisconsin is just north of Wisconsin Dells, White Creek Tavern.
Is that on 13?
It I think so. It's been a while. It's been a few years since I've been there. It is like an episode of Hoarders, but it's a dive bar. The
Yeah, paint me a picture.
sweetest owners. They were amazing to sit there and chat with, and I've had people since I've been there. It used to be a gas station. They took the gas pumps out because they widened the road. So, but it is an experience for sure. I'm not saying it smells good in there. They don't have food. There isn't a lot of bar space because there's just so much clutter. But I stopped in there, and I know that like Wayne, one of the owners who was bartending, like he has no idea what I do. And like some of my followers have been there, and they're like, we were there and we were, talking to Wayne and brought me up because that's how they got there. And Wayne like had tears in his eyes and was, like, oh, like, yeah, he was, so nice, whatever. Like, I'm bringing people in. Like, I'm not going to put lipstick on a pig here. This is what it is. What you see is what you get. But, that's their livelihood. That's how they, I mean, I don't know why it is the way it is, but if it was any cleaner, it wouldn't be talked about right now.
Yeah. So it's just there's just stuff everywhere.
Oh, as soon as you walk in the door on the corner, I would say almost from here to the wall, it's chest high. Just, I don't know what's in there.
What is it? Boxes?
Bags,
Clothes?
yeah, plastic bags. I don't know. I have no idea what's in there. Maybe that's a review all itself. I don't know.
The health inspector shows up very often.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite, Eric?
It's hard to have a single favorite. I mean, there's so many to choose from.
Yeah.
And they all have a lot of cool quirks. I'll give a shout out to Rowdy D's Bar and Grill in Prairie du Chien. Have you been there?
I haven't been there. I was in Prairie du Chien last fall.
It's right in
but
the
I didn't get a chance to
downtown
hit that one.
intersection where you turn to go onto St. Ferial Island.
Okay.
Which is where Dousman House and all the historic stuff is. So Prairie du Chien is famous for Pete's, which is a burger stand where they poach the burgers. They cook them in water on the grill. Water and onions.
Yeah.
I had a coworker was just telling me about this yesterday.
Yeah, and they've been there since 1909, and they're famous, right? So everybody knows Pete's. Well, this place also serves burgers, so they proudly put on a sign on their wall outside, facing you as you're driving towards it, second best burger in town. They're not ashamed to say it. And an added part of the divey, I walked into the bathroom, the men's room, and sign stuck to the urinal says, "Don't spit your chew in here."
Oh my gosh.
So that's another way,
Right. Oh, the dive bar bathrooms are something like Tom's Burn Down Cafe. There's a shower in their bathroom.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
Was there a dive bar in Wisconsin that had chickens running around?
So that's another one. There wasn't any chickens when I was there. But Jackson Clinic in Mauston, just west of Mauston, another mega dive. Matter of fact, when I hit White Creek Tavern, the bar before that was Jackson Clinic. And one of those places where you're out in the farming community, you swear the banjos start playing a little bit louder the closer you get. And I had my fiance and my female friend, Shauna, our friend, and those girls didn't know what was even going on. Like what, like where am I taking them? Like why? But I'm like, yeah, let's just go for a road trip, ladies. Like, and I take them to those two places, which are easily both top 10 diviest dives in Wisconsin. You know, there's spent shotgun shells outside the door. And I'm told if you're there in the winter and you don't come in with, if you're outside and you come back in and you don't have firewood in your hands, like you better go back out and get some because they've got a wood stove right there inside the door too. So. And that bathroom, I swear the floor is at a 25-degree angle when you go in the bathroom. It's a lot of uneven floors I've discovered.
Any dirt floors?
Yeah.
Mocha.
I think the Plywood Palace is still dirt floor.
Yeah, that's a dirt floor.
Yeah.
Have either of you been there?
No.
Okay, if anybody takes you there on a date, either dump them or marry them. I don't think.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, that one, and that's been talked about a lot. But I mean, it's notable for the dirt floor. The bathrooms are outside. And
Little outhouse action.
yeah,
and not
your best
not
even
good
No.
outhouses.
It's an out hole.
The men's room isn't even an outhouse anymore. Like
No.
You get a hole in the ground.
You get a tree.
I was talking to somebody about the Plywood Palace a couple weeks ago, and they said this to me, and it made instant sense. They said it is the Vatican of dive bars, which makes sense because every other dive bar is just a branch off of that one. I feel like that is the creme de la creme, and
It's the diviest.
it is like
along with White.
yeah, it is. It's an experience, and you want to talk vibes. Like I love it. I don't know. Maybe I was up there, like I said 3 weeks ago. That might be the last time I ever go. Like I don't know. Maybe it's gonna fall over. It looks like it's been gonna fall over for 30 years, but
It certainly looks like a strong enough gust will just.
it looks like it. But I think that one of the things that saves it are the holes in the ceiling and the walls, so it's not a
that's
total
it, yeah.
parachute.
That's
It
true.
blows through instead.
Yeah,
of,
there you go.
yeah.
Yeah, I've never been there. They're open in the winter, right?
Oh yeah. They're right, literally 20 feet from the ATV and snowmobile
Yeah,
trail.
there's a wood stove there, and that's all the HVAC you get. And we were there on a steamy, hot summer day.
Yeah,
and,
no
like,
running water.
There's no running water in the place. Yeah, so
Oh wow.
But he has ice cubes if you want to do a mixed drink. I don't know where
Oh,
those
there
come
you
from.
go.
they don't have a dishwasher either.
Yeah.
So order beer in a can and just
Yeah.
yeah.
I think all the beers are in a can, I believe, and he's just grabbing them out of this
Refrigerator.
1960 refrigerator the way it looks. Like he could
Wow.
cut his overhead in half if he bought a new fridge. Like the electricity that thing takes.
What's and maybe we can always edit this out if it's like too insane, but like has there been any like really crazy things that have happened on your travels to all these dive bars? Like what's like the wildest thing that's happened?
It's pretty controlled environment. It doesn't
Yeah.
I think maybe some bar owners think I'm going to bring the Happy Gilmore crowd in where everybody's coming in beer bong and stuff, I think maybe the craziest thing that I've seen at a dive bar, there was, this was down at a bar in O'Galley Bar and Grill, I believe it's just called now. There was a bachelorette party that came in and they had a prosthetic leg that was like from above the knee down. And there was a hole in the top of it, like maybe the size of a quarter. And I saw somebody beer bong a beer out of that prosthetic leg.
Stop. I should not even
That
be
person might have been
laughing,
me that did
but-
that, but
That was you?
there's video of it. Yeah, somebody told me like you should probably chug a beer out of there, so I did. It's like, why not?
Hey,
I don't know.
It's like a shoe beer.
I mean,
Like, why not?
if I were dead and gone and had a prosthetic leg and I'm up in heaven or wherever, and I see somebody chugging a beer out of my former prosthetic leg, I would be honored. So,
Oh yeah, someone came
Yeah.
in with
Yes.
the leg.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
like the leg was okay.
No, it
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
somebody.
yeah.
No, it wasn't.
Okay,
It
no,
wasn't
it
one
was
that was
like a-
in
yeah,
use.
yeah,
Yeah, it was just.
okay.
And why did they have it? I
It would
clearly.
be worse. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe it's
But-
like their little conversation starter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be. But
Well,
yeah,
it worked in this case.
Yeah, and I've never seen anything close to a bar fight. I've never, you know. And I
Probably not at these like local dive bars.
Yeah.
That's not where that's going to be going
That's college
on.
bar kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
definitely a college bar thing.
There's a video going around, maybe it's old, of like somebody at a dive bar with an opossum on the bar counter. So I was curious if you saw.
Oh
anything like
yeah,
that.
I saw. Gosh, what is a? I want to say. Oh, a bearded dragon was that? There was a bearded dragon at a bar, and I'm like,
Oh
can
my
I touch him?
gosh.
And he's like, kind of sitting on the bar, and I go to touch him, and he just ran and fell right off the bar. I'm like, oh my god, I killed him. But he got up and he was fine.
Have
I'm like,
you ever been to the Bear Trap? I think it's called the Bear Trap in North Lake.
I
want
haven't.
to say it is. There's a guy there that brings in a parrot.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I want a dive bar parrot.
That would
Yeah.
be cool.
He
They'd
could do
learn
my
some
he could
colorful
do my
language.
intro
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if you just go to North Lake, you'll probably see him if you go to see live music or something.
Yeah, so there's
He's always
a
got
bar
parrot.
in Reservoir Dogs in Mosinee. The owner Trish is an amazing lady. I've reviewed it once. I've stopped in there 3 or 4 times now, and she has a couple big birds that she has, like parrots, whatever. Like, I remember the white one is Bart. Man, she's gonna be so mad when she sees this guy. I can't think of the other one. But anyway, they're just part of the bar, part of the bar
Wow,
vibe.
I love that. All right. Well, we're actually kind of running out of time. We're going to do a
know.
quick rapid
Little
fire,
game.
right? So read this and answer, like in a relatively short amount of time.
What are they?
You'll find out. They were emailed to you. So,
Yeah.
They were?
yeah.
Was it part of that
It's just-
22
well, we're gonna-
email string that? Okay, currently your top 3 Wisconsin supper clubs.
Yeah.
Let's see, Lehman's in Rice Lake, the Hobnob, Racine Kenosha border, and does it count as a supper club? I was going to say Golden Mast,
Oh, I would
But-
100% count that as a supper club.
Okay.
German supper club.
and I could name
yes.
10 or 12 more, but you said top 3 and we're short
Yeah,
on time.
yeah.
I thought you were
Okay.
gonna say Ishnala. I drove right by it on the way down.
Ishmael
Oh,
is
yeah.
good, but they get the kudos for everything.
Yeah, right. All right. Weirdest name for a Wisconsin diner, drive-in, or dive. Man. I mean, we were talking about this. Like, it's not really a weird name, I guess.
I know one of your favorites. You just posted about it not too long
Yeah,
ago. In Green Bay?
Richard Craniums.
yep.
I think. I mean, it's weird. It's quirky, and it's also brilliant.
What's it? Richard
Craniums.
Richard Craniums.
Think
Yeah.
about the other names for Richard. And the
I'm gonna
other
watch
names
the-
for
you got it?
Cranium.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just trying to move on so
That's
you don't have to
Yeah.
edit it out.
Somebody else? Are you pulling Megan, or is that
Oh,
it?
are we?
Sure,
Are we all
it's
playing?
this is a group effort.
Yeah.
Okay. This just like isn't relevant for me. Wildest Wisconsin character you've met on your Wisconsin travels? Does anyone else have Eric? Probably for me.
I've seen
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Me? Okay.
Have you ever?
I'll
is there,
take that with pride.
Yeah.
Why not?
Is there somebody that's really stuck out to you? For me, it hasn't been really crazy. I remember there was a bartender Stu up at was a place up in Rhinelander that we were talking about.
Oh, God, it had a weird name.
I can't even it's
I'm
drawing.
thinking the Algen because that's a supper club,
Yeah.
and I'm still stuck on supper clubs.
But he was so pumped up, and he had he was so proud, like, because he knows I have a sponsor with Quick Trip, and he was so proud. He showed me he had like 5,000 visits on his Quick Rewards app.
He's got to start using those on brewer tickets. What's he doing?
Right. I have it's great. I have so many too, but yeah, like he was just super pumped up, and he's like, oh, they send me pizza cutters and like all sorts of stuff. Like, I'm like, they don't send me that. Like, come on, like I got to get all the Quick Trip. I'm like, how come he's getting all this stuff? But yeah, there's always those characters, there's not one that's been super way over the top that, really stands out.
Yeah, I'd have to really think because there's lots of little stuff, but one that really stands out.
Yeah.
That's super crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm not usually reviewing bars after
Yeah.
midnight, even after 11.
Yeah.
That's when
It's a
the
pretty
creatures of the night
yeah.
come out. And,
I guess the guy with the parrot would probably be mine.
Yeah. All right. Wildest Bloody Mary you've seen in Wisconsin. What was on it? You've probably seen some really cool Bloody Marys.
I have. I'm not a Bloody Mary guy. I'll say that.
Oh, I am.
But the Whiskey River in West Salem, I remember they have a huge one. It's got a cheeseburger and onion rings and bacon and cheese curds and hard-boiled egg and some peppers and Like there's just all sorts of stuff on there. There's so many places that do those loaded bloodies, and it's like I see pictures of them, whatever, online. I'm like, how much does that thing cost? Like $80? Like, you know,
That's
whole
become
meal.
a real competition.
Yeah.
Who can do the craziest over the top Bloody Mary? And Sobelman's Burgers kind of really launched that. Their location on 19th and St. Paul in Milwaukee. You been? Have you seen the one where they put a whole fried chicken?
Oh, I've
Yeah.
seen that.
Yeah. It's like a picture of Bloody Mary. There's a couple of Sobelman's Burgers on it. Some of the other side, cheese curds and stuff you can put on, but an entire fried chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And it's
it's like, what are you supposed? Are you supposed to take it off of there and carve it yourself, like it's
Yeah, yeah.
Thanksgiving? And
It
Getting
is-
out of hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a place in Fond du Lac that topped even that, but I can't think of the name right now. But maybe we can share it in the show notes. if I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
find it.
All right,
But
let's do two. We'll have two more.
weirdest item you've seen at a Wisconsin bar.
We might have covered these two. The parrots.
The leg. I've seen those legs.
oh
and,
yeah,
like,
there's a
mannequin
prosthetic
heads.
leg at the Anchor Bar in Superior too, just randomly.
Yeah, I think a prosthetic leg you drink out of would qualify.
Yeah.
In that regard. And on the way home, I'm going to be thinking of three things.
Yeah,
No, I know.
right.
I know.
Yeah, there was one Choppers up area where I was at up in Grandview, kind of up by Brule area, Drummond area. We went in there with a group of people a year ago, and they had this thing hanging up above the bar, like by their TV, and I'm like, is that a baby elephant tusk? Like, what is it? Turns out it was a walrus penis.
What?
Oh, they have one of those at Doc's
Yeah,
Harley, too.
I'm like, okay.
Why is that a common
Why do
thing?
they
Why
have
is
They
it?
have wind
it?
chimes.
Yeah,
on
there's
them.
Why
wind
do they
chimes.
have it?
I don't know why they had it. Conversation piece, I guess.
Clearly.
And there's also a bar in Barnes, a Trading Post, that has a autographed O.J. Simpson jersey framed on the wall, which is also it's a conversation piece. So
That is
Yeah,
quite
no
the
kidding.
conversation piece.
Controversial.
I
Yeah.
was going to say very controversial. All right. Coolest location of a Wisconsin dive bar.
ooh, I think my favorite is in Superior, Wabagon. I don't know if you've been there, but the only way to get there by car is by going through Minnesota. You have to
because it's
access
off 23.
it. Yeah, so you have to
Okay.
access it from Minnesota. You have to
by
drive
Mount
into
Dulac.
Yeah,
Okay.
yep, just down and a cool play, amazing fish fry there. It's almost like a dive bar supper club. Yeah,
Or like, is there anything, it's like, oh, this is in the old feed mill, or this bar
Or like
is in-
historic.
and there's
dive
two
bars.
of them that I've reviewed. There's one in Fountain City and one down in the southwest corner. They're barges floating on the Mississippi.
Oh, that's cool.
The Eagle Point Barge Bar, and then I think it's just called the Dam Saloon, I believe, in Fountain City.
Okay, I've heard of that. I've
That
not
one's a
been in there.
dive. That one is a dive, and it's probably as big as this room. The other one is twice as big, maybe, and bigger, and it's great vibe. Obviously, you're floating on the river, and
What is it on?
it's on a barge. It's like it's a chunk of the barge.
Oh.
That
It
is
rises and lowers with the Mississippi,
that's so
Yeah.
cool.
which you kind of need over there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So, yeah.
Yeah. All the way along the Mississippi is just gorgeous, and then
Yeah, I'd put like the pickle in Pepin in the
oh yeah,
category then.
yeah, yep.
Yeah.
That's not real divey. It's kind of nice,
Right.
actually. But yeah, any place along a lake or a river that's right on it. And there are so many bars like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, to wrap it up, I have one more thing. If someone wanted to, start their journey finding some Wisconsin dive bars, what is your Wisco Dive Bar starter pack? Top 3 they have to go to first.
Well, I mean, I do have my own website too. WiscoDiveBars.com is a thing. Get on there. Every bar location I've been to is pinned. You can zoom in. If you're in a certain area, click on any pin, pulls up my video off of YouTube. Also a big blue button that says navigate here. So that's almost the first thing you're going to need. And I guess as far as, are you talking like maybe what you need in a dive bar? Or
I think more just like, what are the top ones they've got to go see first before they hit the rest of them? Like the ones they're preparing themselves
so a newer
with.
one, it's actually just turned 2 years old. The Junkyard Bar in Hurdle, just west of Spooner, just north of 70, just off of County Road X. Like I said, it's only 2 years old. It's one of those places where you can sit there for 6 hours and just stare at everything on the walls. Come back the next day and you're seeing stuff that you didn't see yesterday. Incredible owners like that. That was my dive bar of the year in 2023, as far as that goes. And let's just stick right to that. My dive bar of the year in 2024, Pete's Garage Bar in Oshkosh. That vibe is incredible.
That's been on my list for a long
And
time.
it's great. And Pete that owns the place, fantastic guy, and he gives back to the community so much and does a giant toy drive. You know, that's how he got to be my dive bar of the year. I'll be honest, like, because he gives back so much.
And that's just on the south side of Oshkosh, just south of downtown.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. One just quick side note, a great drive-in near there, also classic historic, where they will come out, do the tray and everything. Artie and Ed's drive-in, which Lake Winnebago is right across the street. You can see the beautiful lake right there.
That's a
And
classic.
that's less than a mile, I think, from Pete's.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and then I would say another just quirky one too. It is a mega dive. Is Rusty's Backwater Saloon and outside of Stevens Point.
Oh my gosh. I love that one. They have this big bash, and one time when I was in college, because I went to Stevens
Shadrap
Point,
will play there.
we went. You get on a bus, you go to Rusty's backyard bash.
Yeah.
And we were there, and my friend had to get back to do a play, and she wanted to just not go back because we were having so much fun. We're like, no, you have to go to your performance.
He used to have a black bear out there that he raised.
Oh wow.
And it's like, and I remember when I went in there, I took a Snapchat because the inside it's kind of cluttered. One corner. I remember a Snapchat I sent to some people. I'm like, so if there's a cat eating food next to a chainsaw sitting on the floor, like, is this making a dive bar? And then also there's a little carousel there, cooler with cheese. You can buy cheese too. It's and Rusty was a great guy. Great guy.
But they
He's
have a
been
huge
open
bash.
every
I love
single
it.
day for like 15,000 days.
Wow.
They've never closed with anything that happened in the last 5 years. And, you know, every single day, Christmas, New Year's, thanks, every single day he's been open since like 1982 or whatever it is.
It's incredible. And then, okay, wait, last question I have is, when you're going to one of these dive bars, what's your drink of choice?
I'm a Busch Light guy. And another thing, when I'm out road tripping, I usually don't drink hard liquor, but I do have this for you guys. I hit it here before you guys got
I
here.
know what it is, I'll bet.
Actually, do have a bottle of my vodka. It's made at Timekeeper Distillery in Wausau. So I autographed it for you guys.
Oh my
god! It's been out
Been
for like
out?
9 months probably.
Okay. I'm excited to try it. What's your favorite drink to make with it?
I'm a vodka lemonade guy.
Okay.
So yeah, that's been out. You can Bill's distributing in Menominee. Distributes at Menominee or Superior.
That's incredible. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, and then, like I said, I had this surprise that I thought would be a good time to announce something. So, as I said, I'm sitting at bar number 920. So I'm going to announce today, September 6th, will be bar number 1000 because I can control it.
Yeah.
And it is going to be at the Curve Inn in Kewaskum.
Ooh.
So Casey and Vinny that own that place have become family to me through the Tavern League of Wisconsin. And they've been nothing but incredible to me. And I was talking to them at the Tavern League convention in Wausau, and they just put on an addition on their bar, and it was opening like the beginning of May. And they're like, well, you gotta come to our bar in like 2 weeks. I'm like, I'm booked, you know? And then I was like, well, how about this? How do you guys like to be bar number 1000? And they're like, are you kidding me? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. I can control this thing. I do all the videoing, all the editing, everything. So yeah, that's what I'll post times and dates, you know, we have the date, Saturday, September 6th, but we'll post times and stuff coming up. But it'll be a party. So,
okay, so
everybody's invited.
You're going to post a time so anyone can come.
Yeah.
And what's the bar again?
The Curve Inn in Kewaskum.
The Curve Inn. Okay,
Curve
so
Inn.
I grew up near Kewaskum, but I don't think I've been to the Curve Inn.
I don't know if it was named something else. I don't know how long Casey and Vinny have had it. But, but
okay,
yeah,
what's
they're great.
What's special about the Curve Inn?
They just have amazing owners. I've never been there. I haven't reviewed it. So
it'll be the first time that you're going.
Yeah, so that'll be the 1000th bar.
Or if they get 6 Busch Lights out of 10,
yeah.
they'll be 10.
Yeah. And like I said, they're fantastic. And I didn't want bar number 1000 to be random.
Yeah.
You know, like it has to mean something to me. And it's kind of like me telling them how much I appreciate them, like to make them bar number 1000.
So you have to hit 79 bars between now and September 6th.
Not a problem.
Right?
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see you there.
Awesome.
September 6th. Okay.
Well, this is fun. I could talk to you guys forever, but we are out of time today. Where can people find you, Jared?
I'm on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Threads, Wisco Dive Bars, Wisco Dive Bar Reviews. One of the just look for the blue check mark. That's me, and then WiscoDiveBars.com. And yeah, if you want to find out where I've been going, that's the easiest way is shows that map of the craziness that my life is.
And his videos are so good and
They're
so
so
funny
fun to
and
watch.
like really engaging.
Yeah.
So check it
I
out.
appreciate that.
Yes.
And then what about you, Eric?
Oh, I watch his videos too.
You have your own thing.
I do. I'm Eric Paulsen 70 on Instagram, State Trunk Tour, the road trip website, statetrunktour.com, State Trunk Tour on Instagram and on X now.
Yeah.
and Facebook, of course. And so we sometimes we highlight those and can, point to you.
Mm-hmm.
But then we talk about just all the cool things along all the roads and going through the towns, not around them, because that's where all the good stuff is.
Absolutely.
All right, cabin listeners. Well, that is all we have for you today. Thanks for watching. Be sure to go follow these two. We love having them in here. And don't forget to leave us a voicemail down below in the description. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. We got it all. But we will see you next week.
Bye. More summer fun is coming to Oak Creek this July, brought to you by Martin Law Office SC, the official sponsor of Oak Creek Summer. It's family first at Fair on the Square food truck tour and outdoor movie night on July 9th. Then bring your four-legged friends to Dog Days on July 18th and 19th. Looking for a great date night? Our night markets are back with 3 dates this summer, including July 19th. Plus, our popular pop-up beer gardens and farmers market continue throughout the month. All these events and more are happening in Drexel Town Square. For details, visit oakcreek.com.
The Cabin is brought to you by Praising the Pines. Step away from the noise of everyday life and into a space where faith, music, and community create lasting change. On Saturday, July 19th, 2025, Newsboys take the stage in Eagle River for a night of powerful worship and spiritual renewal. Through relatable teaching, inspiring music, and personal testimonies of God's grace, this festival cultivates an atmosphere where the love of Jesus Christ touches hearts and brings lasting transformation. Don't miss this life-changing event. Get your tickets now at praisingthepines.org. Today's episode of The Cabin was hosted by Andrea Belke and Megan Christian and produced by Andrea Belke. Audio engineering and video teasers by Nick Cardarella and Megan Christian, with social media by Megan Christian. Production support by Gavin McLean. The Cabin is a production brought to you by Discover MediaWorks. To learn more, head to discovermediaworks.com and don't forget to leave a review.